Arabs. Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, Egypt, Arabs. Then president of Libya, Arab. We're going to run under the Arabs? But if you're going to fight, you're prepared to fight anywhere, right? Anytime your freedom is being infringed. You're not going to run to a safer enemy. You're going to fight wherever you're at. So I'm not running back to Africa. And I'm not going to go sit in the grass and wait on him to come. I want to be right there. Ready to take him with me. Do you feel me? That's a fact. So we're here for a reason. But we must organize. This is not a spiritual group. This is not a spiritual organization. This is a freedom nation. This is a nation that haven't clicked into some people. It ain't clicked in that this is a nation. This is where we're setting up. So for some people, it's not going to appear to afterwards what this was. Till they look back. This is a nation. We got to stand like that with that type of fortitude. We got to stand with that type of consciousness as a nation throughout the day to maintain what? The freedom that we have. The reason we're growing in this community is because we're organized. It took organization to do this. I'm going to be very repetitive with this. And the reason we grow is because we become more organized. Bottom line. Now, the things that we want now on an individualistic level will be more abundant to us when we become an organized force of security. Do y'all hear me? If we become an organized force of security, the little things that we want, that we struggle over, we will find them in abundance. Our capability to produce them will be abundant. So while one person got to get a job to have this, 50 people can create it for everyone. Like in Africa, you want your own house when you have children, somebody built your house for you. We ain't had real estate like we got today. The Africans say in the village, say, okay, we're going to build them a house next, and they all build each other's house. Because that community was able to secure housing for them. No white man involved. No city of Chicago, no Rahm Emanuel or Mayor Daley, none of them. But they built their own house. I look in our community, I see a lot of houses that need to be built for people to live in. We got to build them. We got to make them livable to house our people. We must secure our neighborhoods and our community. There is nowhere else. Everybody talking about running. But I stand here in this wilderness of North America. This is the love that we have for our mamas, brothers, and sisters. Because we are an active force against these devils in standing. We are a black National Guard for our people. While we not get caught up into their spookism and their slavery and their attachment to white supremacy, we are a National Guard standing for our people. That's a fact. We can move out on anything pertaining to our people. We can move out as a force of destruction against this white man. Do you hear what I'm saying? A force of real, not protest, a force of destruction. We're not protesting no more. You kill my children, there's nothing to protest about.
Straight like that.
You need to die. You need to die. That's a fact. But when a European know you got it like that, he ain't gonna even try you. That's why Black Wall Street stood so long. You feel me? It shouldn't have got that far. That's why Rosewood stood so long. Do you follow what I'm saying? Because they know we can't run up on that. But when economics begin to break down the integrity, if you look at Wall Street and the European wanted to have some economics in that community, it evolved from an economic confrontation to warfare. But that's when you have a community based on economics. When you got a community based on black supremacy, you ain't going to be no talk. We got nothing to talk about. As soon as we see you, we're plunging into you. You feel me? Period. I'm not talking about talking. Yeah, we think this. No, as soon as we see you, we're plunging into you. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? That's how it got to be. That's the level we got to get to, but we got to be organized. Some of us believe in failure. We can't do that. We're not ready to do that. We can't do that. Then they should believe in failure because we outnumber them. So if they got the courage to come into our community every day, we don't got the courage to stand in it. What type of gods and goddesses are we calling ourselves? We don't got the courage to stand in our own community. We don't have the courage to stand in our own house. We've been looking at this planet all wrong. We've been looking at this damn thing all wrong. We got to change our perspective dramatically. The majority of people in our community, we still think we're on his land. We're not seeing it as ours. We're not taking advantage of it. It's time that we do that. And that's happening right here. So we encourage people to become more organized. Not reactionary. Being reactionary will get you killed. Being organized will make you successful. If you can channel your emotions that you would have about the negative stuff that can happen to our people, if you can channel that now before it happens into organization, guess what? It won't happen. Channel that now. Don't wait for another black child to be killed. Don't wait for another police to shoot our people. You know what I'm saying? Don't wait for them to run into our community and then get reactionary all of a sudden. And you're going to do something about it. And they've been plotting and planning every single day of their life to keep you in slavery. You got to take the energy and the emotion and channel that now into becoming an organized force. Become an organized force. Come out, but we got to come out of our romantic idealisms of revolution. Every person can play a position effective in revolution. You don't have to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or Rambo. A lot of times, there was one man, even in Hollywood, that was some one man shit. From the grandmama to the smallest child to the feeble, you follow, can play a strong position in revolution based on effective organization. The individualistic Rambo mentality must be destroyed. Small positions are greater than the egotistical ones. Do you know what I'm saying? We don't reverence the small position. Say, we just need you to send us out and do this little work, blah, blah. No, I want to be Rambo. I'm ready. We don't need that. Just send out the email. I'm ready. Come on, brother. Could you send that email out? I'm ready to die right now. You ready to die, brother. We're trying to get the 10 emails out today. Can we get that?
We can die tomorrow.
As soon as the police pull up in front of the house, then back in the garbage, they hide in the garbage can.
What you doing? Sending out emails.
You hear what I'm saying? We got to get away from the super romanticized. You know, it was times where I had my children on security, and it was effective. It don't take much. You could fight the revolution in a wheelchair. Look at Professor X and X-Men. Real talk. You could fight a revolution in a wheelchair. Some people don't want to hear that because they believe in this whole physical thing. They believe it's all out here. They don't realize this. Small moves are very important. Some people have such a grandiose idea about what they can do. And they're right. They can do all of that. But what do you need? What's important? This revolution that happened in Egypt, all people doing was on Facebook and Twitter. They're not talking about people who went to school for social science and social engineers and they studied. They said they just got on Facebook and said, look, we need to do this shit. Real simple. So it's simpler than the fearful make it look. The fearful make it look complicated. And they die with bazookas that they never used. They die with AKs that never been fired. Right? They die with training and gun range training, but they have not even accomplished the minimum of this. Because they've overcomplicated it. They 50 billion times more trained than their enemies are. But some little white woman gonna have their big ass in handcuffs. Literally. Big as hell, can't even fit in their handcuffs. Okay, ma'am. Do y'all hear me? I just seen martial artists submit to being took down by little white women. Training every goddamn day. White woman put her knee in his back. Come on, sir. I'm just keeping it real. So we got to get, like they said back in the 90s, don't believe the hype. Come out of the hype. People come up here hyped up. Into the hype. And if they don't see the hype, but a lot of times where you see all the hype, you don't see nothing happening but some money being exchanged. Everybody got a nice uniform on. In a nice secure building. You know what I'm saying? Lecture's over, the building closed. It's hype. But when you look at that community, nothing's being done. They're not making no real movement to create nothing in their community. They're not taking over nothing, doing nothing. So those hype things, we need to separate the hype from the reality. Hype revolution does not create change. In the 60s, there was a lot of hype. What the Honorable Elijah Muhammad did was more successful than what all the Black Panthers did. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's a fact. Because something was actually being established. They was sensational. We got all these guns, but there was not a significant enough of killings. You follow what I'm saying? For the amount of guns they have. And people that got shot, they said, I didn't do it. His friend, it was a friendly fire. So the guns they had they didn't even shoot.
Props.
Hype. Sometimes they win, the guns was not even loaded. But they come to us and say, y'all ain't got no guns. Y'all can't be no revolution. I don't see nobody walking around with guns. It's hype. People got guns and they paying rent. Turn a gun on your landlord and tell him this is my house.
Right.
What are you going to use the gun for? When are you going to use it? You know what you're going to use it? To assassinate another Malcolm. You got guns for niggas. They got guns for black people. Black guns for black people. They're not going to use the guns on the European. Go out there with your guns and tell them, go into the police station and tell them this is our community now. We don't need you no more. They're not going to do that. They're going to keep going, paying to go down to the gun range. Right? Standing next to Whitey. How do I do this? Let me show you. Aryan Nation showing them how to shoot. Huh? Who won the gun ranges?
Wow.
Black Targets.
Come on. Let me show you that. I don't like niggers, but you're not holding that right. It's a fact. So what's all this for? It's hype. But if I go to their house and tell them you full of hype, they're going to be ready to pop me.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to get past the hype of revolution and get down to the center. That's a fact. They said, okay, y'all gonna deal with the United States military. Y'all gonna need all these guns and weapons. They got all these guns. But unless they gonna blow shit up, they lost at close combat. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't spray the whole house up, you ain't got no chance.